Aloha, 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 soul family, soul ohana. I hope you guys are doing well. So this is a timeless reading, but the energies that this reading will be focusing on, or at least that's going to be coming up, will be touching on this full moon. Now, I know I don't usually kind of mark the events when I do these recordings. I'm going to try to do that more often. Let me know if that helps or if that, if it matters one way or another to you. But as always, let's go ahead and open up space, just cleansing the space additionally with some sound healing, sound toning. As I chime my tuning fork, I invite you to just take a moment to pray or meditate, setting any goals or intentions that you have for our time together today. And just keep in mind, take some deep, full breaths in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, deeply and fully. Here we go. All right. So again, I just want to thank you for being here. To my long-term subscribers, I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so, so much. You know, as I say in these sessions, that when you do subscribe, not only does it support the channel, but it helps me to connect a bit more clearly and deeply with your energies. But let's dive in. Let's dive into the cards. Without further ado, let's get past that flim flam. Spirit, what do we need to know? What is the message with this full moon? As we are, we're clearing out of Mercury retrograde. Thank goodness. It's been a real schlep. I don't know about you guys. I've been hearing it all across the board that it's been a little bit of a schlep. I feel like this is an opening message for just what was going on. I'm going to put these back in the deck, but our opening message here, just in regards to what I was saying with that Mercury retrograde going direct, Woman of Cups, Eight of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and of course the Eight of Cups. We're moving on from stagnation. Things may feel a little bit stuck, but there's a purification energy coming through. Spirit is telling us, right now, obviously, this does touch base with the full moon energies, I would say. But I feel like definitely a cleansing sort of intention, a cleansing sort of space. I'll see. I don't want to tease you folks and then not deliver, but in the part two, for those who don't know, I do an extended version of this video, part two in the extensions, kapualani.com/extensions. But I may offer us a little bit more of a workshop, guided meditation. We'll see. Again, I apologize in advance if I don't fulfill on that. But I'm going to try to, especially because we've got these full moon energies, and I feel like it would be a good time for it. But anyway, things may still feel a little bit like they're stuck. I'm just hearing like cleaning the pipes, clearing the waterworks right now. I feel like leave this out, Spirit, or put it back in. Put it back in the deck. So if you're experiencing that, again, this Woman of Cups, touching back on her before I just kind of put this back in the deck here, there's a lot of your sensitive nature is really at the surface, is really coming to the forefront right now. And so maybe you've been, you know that you're sensitive, things maybe have been heightened, it may have felt stagnated, it may have felt like things were just dragging on. This is all with the purpose, always, right? When we have things that are unpleasant or just kind of funky, that are being dredged up, especially things from the past, it's all about acknowledgement, and clearing, feeling our way through it, handling it, dealing with it, healing it, feeling and dealing and healing, all those things, so that we can authentically move forward, so that we don't have all this lingering kind of baggage or stuff like just that's there. We can't start a new foundation on something that's unstable, right? Or something that is not in that alignment with what it is that you truly value, right? And so that's what this time is about. We are going through this little bit of a turning over sort of process, a pivot, away from all of that focus, from things that may have been getting dredged up, whatever it is. It may not be anything specific, may not be memories from the past or habits or whatever, but just sluggishness in general, just like this feeling that everything feels as if you're having to move through molasses or move through like tar and that kind of a thing. So we're moving past these energies. That's what we're kind of, that with this Mercury directing, with Venus also stationing direct shortly. It's going to be, I think, in the next week or so. But then we have, of course, the burn off period with those shadow phases to contend with over the next 2-3 weeks or so. So just be mindful and patient in that regard. but things should start to feel a little bit lighter and brighter in the coming days and especially in the coming weeks. So Spirit, again, the message, what do we look at? What are we covering? What is the message for us for this full moon? Child of Cups, so the feeler, yeah, there's a new a clean slate that we're going to be opening up to, in terms of especially the intuitive, empathic aspect of ourselves, that inner child, the feeling nature, having fun, being playful, being open and receptive to spontaneity, being adventurous, trying new things, being open to and calling in positive, new, harmoniously soul aligned experiences. Okay, whether they're connections, right now you may still, part of you may feel like being a little bit social is what I'm picking up on. Part of you may feel like that, but at the same time, you may also be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by too much, too soon, too fast. So take it easy on yourself, okay? But look at that double new beginnings here. The Ace of Cups, really loving these energies with that purification, heart healing, heart opening, heart chakra cleansing, and purification. Again, sorry, I said that a number of times, but there is this unfolding. We saw that Queen of Cups, the Mother of Cups, and that Eight of Cups opening up earlier, which the Eight of Cups is also we're moving on from what's not working. We're moving on from things that have, that we're cycling out of, the lessons that we've learned, the experiences that we've been through, whether they've been beautiful, wonderful experiences. Like you saw in that stagnation card, there was that bouquet of flowers that were just kind of wilting and, dying essentially. And so that's kind of the whole aspect of it, is once it was a beautiful, thriving bouquet of flowers, now they're kind of drying out and you know what I mean, getting a little bit faded and funky. And so we don't want that dead energy just lingering, because that it becomes that, it starts to become and perpetuate more of that kind of energy. I'm not saying that dried flowers are not nice, but it's the whole aspect of like stagnated stuff that just perpetuates it. And see, there it is again. Oh my gosh, that stagnation, it hurt us talking about it. And so this is what we're clearing. This is what we're acknowledging. This is part of the experience in terms of having that enjoyment, but understanding that there is an ebbing and a flowing to everything, like the energy of 8, that figure 8, the yin and the yang. We're moving into this lighter space. I know it seems backwards, but I'm just going to be saying, like, because this is, presently it's something that we still may be dealing with, the moving on part. This is the message of the full moon, that there are these new cycles of happiness, of pleasure, of joy, of love even, that we are awakening to, that we're calling in, that we are being inspired by. And we may also still be dealing with a little bit of that sludge as we continue to cycle out of, again, those retrogrades. So, Spirit, what is this message? I was going to say with the 8 of Cups, be mindful, okay? With the Devil's play, we've got devil energy and Capricorn energy. All this water, I'm just going to point it out, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio vibes here. Okay, and then we've got the Capricorn energy with the Devil's play. So this may be feelings around your work, your career. This may even be feelings around, like, as I mentioned earlier, your social life, whether it's romance, friends, family, whatever the case may be. I feel like there's anything that's been toxic, anything that just hasn't been working, hasn't been going your way, cycles of repeat where you feel stuck in, or habits that are just not serving you anymore. That's the opportunity that we have right now with this full moon to turn things around, to clear, to release, to acknowledge in a healthy, positive sort of way. It may not feel like that at the time, but that's the opportunity that we have, okay? And it's also clearing the slate so that, like, for example, if this is about career, even if it's about relationship, we're not taking that old, outdated energy with us. We're not trying to, have this new start with that old funk, right? We want to be able to acknowledge it and be like, no, this is the new beginning that I want. I've learned these lessons. I've gone through these experiences, and hopefully we've transcended them. So it may feel like it's still a little bit of a challenge, but remember, with the Devil, this is also about personal empowerment, that moment to recognize, where am I getting in my own way? Where am I clinging to the end results instead of just focusing on the work, focusing on showing up, focusing on being present, because that Devil can be very distracting, like the monkey mind, You know what I mean? Where we just get too caught up in like what's not working. And so it's about acknowledging that I am the creator of my own reality, and I have the power to turn things around, at any moment, even if it doesn't seem like it, even if it doesn't feel like it, regardless of whatever it is that you're dealing with. Come into heart center. Okay, come into heart center, connect with that inner child. Let's make it more of a playful type of energy. Make it into a game. I don't know. That's just what's coming through. We got the 8 of Worlds. We got 8 and 8 showing up here. Yeah, the ebbing and the flowing, the yin and the yang, the dark and the light. And this is change, right? The 8 of Worlds and that 8 of Cups. So that is all about change. We're moving out of the dark and into the light aspect. But to do that in a fair way, remember, right? We got to acknowledge that both of those realms exist in the first place, and the choices that we're making to exit from any feelings of entrapment or stuckness and start to just build our way toward the shift, toward the freedom and the feeling of liberation. This is an adjustment. Again, this is a phase and a period to adjust how you're doing, what it is that you do, or maybe it is even what it is that you're doing. We're not in a space to just put all this high pressure on the self with these grandiose expectations. This is all about kind of massaging and working our way through the process, but understanding that we are getting this boost, right? We are getting this boost of positive energy. We are getting this lifting up and a little bit more brightness that's coming through for us, okay? So Spirit, what is kind of a bigger, grander kind of closing message here? What can we expect this full moon to transform just based on everything that we've seen here so far? Thank you, Spirit. The Knower, Sage of Crystals. Okay, so a lot more wisdom coming through in terms of how you analyze, plan, and even to some degree with this Devil's Play, because that's action and work. I think about Capricorn and getting things moving, or strategizing. But yeah, strategizing. Okay, strategizing. The Sage of Crystals is really interesting because in this deck, we think about, okay, what would that be, like the Knight of Wands? It's not exactly, because there's more of this wisdom-based element to it, as even though it is a seeker energy, part of what Spirit's telling me, and it does kind of fall into alignment with Knight. But I feel like in this deck, I'm pretty sure that the Sage of Wands is like that wise elder to the mother and the father, but I digress. So this is really giving vibes of that the answers are within your hands. Again, I get this feeling of analysis, being a little bit more analytical, a little bit more methodical about the steps that you're taking when you are making these adjustments. This is that time to not only be inquisitive, but to execute, to have the faith and the confidence that you know what you're doing. And it's not about ego or and being unprepared, but again, it's through analysis, inspection, again, being inquisitive, asking the right questions, and gathering the right info or intelligence or whatever it is to more effectively take action toward whatever it is that your goals are. Even if this is about love, for example, right? We're not always in our right minds when it comes to emotions. We just kind of like are a bit more, reactive, right? So this is that time where it's like, even though we are open up to this new cycle of feeling and emotion and play and that kind of thing, having fun and being adventurous, there's still a sense of adventure here, but there's an intention. It's a lot more intentional. We're not just having fun for the sake of having fun or going into this mode of play for the sake of that, but we're utilizing that playfulness to just uplift, because it can feel very daunting, right? When you're having to analyze or organize or whatever it is, right? When it's just it can feel robotic at times. So this is where we are calling in that element of fun and excitement as well. And, it doesn't have to be completely exciting. Okay, let's just be fair. But at least a little bit more of joy and lightheartedness around that. So what is the Sage of Crystals message What is the outcome energy? Look at that, 2 of crystals. So technically with the crystals, they do represent swords, and this would be like the 2 of swords. So in this case, we're allowing for more information to be gathered right now. We're just going to make peace with what is. We don't, like I said earlier, we don't need to force or push anything. We don't need to have any of these grand expectations to be anywhere right now. Where you are is exactly where you need to be, because this is a pivotal moment. This is a turning, a changing of the guards in so many ways, right? So just as a reminder, I am going to have that extended version, that part 2, coming up following this. I'll see what I can do about a guided meditation. I apologize again if I don't fully deliver on that. Forgive me. But that's why I also have it as a sliding scale. So starting at $1.11 for those who don't know, you can check out the link. And don't leave yet. I'm going to pull one of my spirit card, animal spirit cards. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of info and insight for those who don't know. But Kapualani.com for any sessions. I do offer live and pre-recorded sessions. But Kapualani.com/extensions. Again, I'll put that link in the description box below in the comments. But let's go ahead, shuffle animal spirit cards. I'm going to give my downloads with the animal spirit cards in this reading, and then in part 2 we're going to read from the book. We're also going to be asking, and those who know, prepare your yes or no questions, because we're going to ask the angels, angel oracles, some yes or no questions, see what they say. In regards to that, I'm also, as always, going to be working with our romance angels. So even if you don't have any questions about love or romance, I always say this, sorry, for those who've heard me say it a million times, but it's about what you're passionate about right now and just any other messages from the angels for you, okay? So let's dive in to the animal spirits. Let's see, animal spirit guide. What is the animal spirit guide message for us? Oh, we have horse. Okay, so we've seen horse before, I believe. I always, I lean in the energy of family, of independence, of work ethic is actually also what's, because I think about workhorse. There's this energy also of being present to the moment. I feel potential for travel. I feel the potential here for, I don't know why, but I'm hearing the word elegance as well. There's this energy of beauty. There's this energy of sensitivity, having a sensitive nature, listening, something coming in on the wind. So there could be messages as well when I'm picking up on with this horse energy. I just get a lot of freedom and independence as well when I see horse. But again, also that, because horses are very big on family and, the loyalty and that kind of thing. So that's another, a few other bits that are coming through. But again, I'm getting it with travel. I'm getting this energy with balance and harmony, staying true to yourself, and just kind of being open and paying attention to your sensitive nature and to whatever messages you're picking up on, or whatever vibes that you're picking up on, because it could be like a vibey energy coming through here. So that being said, I'm gonna just kind of close up here as always, and again invite you to check it out, Kapualani.com/extensions. But I will see you in part 2. Thank you so much for being here. Again, this is a timeless reading, so take what resonates. As always, leave the rest behind no matter when you are seeing this. Okay, I'll see you in part 2.